Producers, how are you guys doing today? In this video, I'm just gonna be messing around with sound design and see what kind of cool melodies we can come up with. Really, I like using presets and then resampling it and layering it. So today, I guess I'll go over layering and try to come up with some cool sounds by layering different sounds. Recently, I came out with an update for future beats. And in the previous version, which was really popular, in that version there was 114 sounds, and in this version now there's 3 volumes and 270 sounds total. So definitely check that out if you like the sounds that you hear in this video, or if you have Massive and want some presets. So right here, this sound is a monophonic sound. That means it can only play one note at a time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create one long note and I'm gonna freeze this. I'm gonna flatten it. What I just did is I turned it to audio. So let's create a MIDI track now and drag this into the MIDI track. Now I can play multiple notes. I like that. All right, let's go ahead and normalize this, which means bring the volume up. Okay, that was kind of raw. Let's just capture that. Now let's see how we can layer onto this sound. So let's get another track, get more presets here. So I like that sound right there. See it? When I'm combining sounds, I want to make sure that each one has a purpose. So for this one, I want it to be more of the high end. So what I did is I added an OTT. That's just a preset for this compressor right here. It's called a multi-band compressor. It's basically like 3 compressors: the middle, the high end, and then the low end. And there's not really any low sounds in this sound, so you can't hear anything. But OTT is just a preset that I like. It really intensifies any sound. It makes it really crisp and over compressed almost. So I just like adding it and then turning down the amount. Let's get a lead that's gonna tie everything together and create a melody with it that's gonna tie things together and blend this together. A dark vibe to it. All right. So let me try adding a piano. I just like how it sounds. And as a matter of fact, we don't have to use 3 tracks to go ahead and layer this sound. So this is going to be called layer right here, this group. But we really don't need a group of 3 different tracks. What we can do is just hit Command G on this right here, on this one sound, and create 2 more layers. Call this layer piano. We'll call this layer massive. And so let's just get massive here and just cut all of this. And let's put it in the massive chain right here. And then let's get this contact piano and put it in this chain right here. Now we can get rid of these 2 other tracks and keep this. And for massive, since we want it to be a little bit higher, let's get, same with the piano, let's make it come up 12. Let's play with this pitch setting right here. Now let's put a compressor on all 3 of these. This piano. Alright, let me see how this would sound if I reverse it all and then I freeze it. And put it in another track and then reverse it again with R. Let's take it up an octave. Let's take it up 7. I like how that sounds when it's 6 down. So let's take down this melody 6 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So since there's so many effects like reverb and stuff on it, obviously I could go into massive and turn it off, but I love working with audio because I can chop audio, I can flip it, I can do whatever I want with it. So what I'm gonna do is just manually chop it wherever I want it. Add little stutters here and there wherever I want to. Can fix the timing a little bit. Alright, now let me go ahead and play with the pitch. I remember what I wanted to do. I wanted to add like a pitch drop every once in a while. So right now we have something very soft and I guess dynamic in a way. But when I'm making sound design, I like to keep things like that in mind, because if I want to add something else, it would have to add something different to what we have already. So something I think would be cool is if we added a little arp. It's gonna be a key preset this time, and I'll see what I can find. Alright, so I kind of mixed this a little bit, but now we need like more texture to this sound. So instead of adding melodic and harmonic notes and more things to this to make this more complicated, I'm gonna add sound effects and ambient sounds that I can use to fill up the space. So one of my go-tos is just white noise. So for that, I go with operator, noise white. Try to create some interesting rhythms first of all. Into a high pass and cut out the lows. From the Trap Essentials kit, those chimes. Honestly, I might get like a world recording, so like an ambience sound, so something like a city or a forest or something, and put that in the background. Too many birds, that's not what I'm going for. Now when I add sounds like this, I like to give them rhythm, because the thing is just right now, it's just an ambient sound right now. So there's no sense of rhythm to it, it's just there. So what I like to do is I get a compressor, and Let me get another track, and I'm just gonna call this sidechain. We're just gonna put an operator on it. This track is not even gonna be audible. It's just gonna be for the sidechain, so you can just mute it. But let's sidechain this ambient sound to the sidechain track. So we go to audio from and we do sidechain. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna compress this sound first of all. I forgot to do that because right now it's just very dynamic. Make sure it's all the same volume. What I'm gonna do is let me just copy this pattern that I have from the white noise. Let's call this white noise. So if we listen to it, it sounds like this. But like I said, it's gonna be muted, but it's gonna have that rhythm. So now when we bring this down, every time the sidechain hits, it's gonna lower the volume. But instead of lowering it, I want it to be expanded. So I'm gonna put it in expand mode. This means it's gonna get louder every time the sidechain hits. That was just a little layering tutorial, I guess. I'm just messing around. Now let's go ahead and turn this into an actual beat. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to select all of these tracks. I'm gonna select just a little area right here. I'm gonna hit Command-Shift-R. What I'm gonna do is just export all of this. Let's do selected tracks only. I'm gonna export all of this sound. Now we're gonna select the group, export, and let's just call it cushion. Let's just do the master because it's only one sound anyways. And let's just call it cushion. Full. Let's just close this and put it to the side. Let's create a new track. And let's go ahead and pull up this sound. So this is the full composition right here. So we made our own little sample here. Now let's see what we can do with this. So I love using audio because you have so many options that you can do. You can chop it up and whatnot. But the first thing I like to try is I like to see how do you zoom back out? Like this is super ugly. Anyways, the first thing I like to try is I like trying to reverse the whole thing. Let's warp it too and bring it up an octave. See how that sounds. Bro, that's so raw. That sounds really raw. Let's put a reverb on it. Fuck that. Actually, let's put a delay on it. Okay, so I got an idea right there. As you can tell, when I switched between 2 and 4, it created this little pitch bend. And that's something that delays do. When you change the timing of the delay, it'll start bending the pitch. So every once in a while, I want to go ahead and change that pitch. So like right here, let's change it to 4. go ahead and bring that back like that. So that's our sample right here. And what we can do is take little parts of our sample. Instead of putting the whole composition there, maybe we could just put those chords and reverse those. And then on the second track, we can bring in this right here and reverse it. Actually, bring it up 7 first of all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so now I'm gonna start adding drums. Let me get a drum rack. And let me fill it up with some sounds. So I kind of just did the drums off camera really quickly. It just kind of happened and I didn't record it. But I added a snare track, a kick track, a hi-hat track, and then finally an 808 track. And this is what they sound like together. Let's just play the drums together. So we got the kick right here. We got the snare. These are both from the Trap Essentials kit. So this is Mafia snare number 28, and this is a kick from the Trap Essentials pack. Now this is a plug Trap Essentials hi-hat. It's number 1. It's the first one. And then finally we have the 808, which is from my 808 Essentials kit. Now in the context of the song, it sounds like this. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, I pitched this up an octave. So let's bring it back down. And my bad, my microphone is picking up stuff, so it's going up and down in volume. But I'm gonna go ahead and mix this and add little beat stops. This is the last thing that I like to do. I like to freeze everything. With the drums, it's not so much of a big deal, really, but it's more for the 808 that I do this. And I just like adding little beat stops and beat pauses. Let me go ahead and mute my mic. Anyways, you guys get the point. You can go ahead and chop things. I'm probably gonna do a little bit better off camera. I'm just gonna mix this and maybe add some, changes to the melody, like pitch it back up higher, stuff like that. But if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. Definitely cop that Future Beats pack if you like some of the sounds that I was using. Check that out. And other than that, we're done.